Before marble monuments, government buildings, and broad ceremonial avenues defined the American capital, this landscape was something entirely different. Vast marshes stretched toward the Potomac River, where tall reeds swayed beneath an endless sky and forests blanketed the higher ground. Beyond the wetlands, deer wandered freely through the grasses, bald eagles soared overhead, and Native American communities lived in harmony with the changing seasons. Their narrow footpaths wound quietly through the marshes as canoes crossed the calm river, leaving behind a landscape that remained almost untouched for countless generations. That peaceful rhythm slowly began to change at the end of the 18th century. European surveyors arrived carrying maps, measuring chains, and ambitious plans for a brand new capital city. Trees were marked and cleared, muddy trails widened into straight roads, and drainage channels transformed wetlands into buildable land. Temporary camps spread across the landscape as wagons hauled timber, bricks and stone through thick mud. What had once been wild marshland was gradually reshaped into the carefully planned foundation of the future Washington, D.C. Construction accelerated with remarkable determination. In the distance, the first stone walls of the United States. Capitol slowly rose above the horizon while another grand project, the White House, began taking shape nearby. Hundreds of workers labored beneath towering wooden scaffolding, lifting heavy blocks of stone by hand and carving elegant marble columns under the summer sun. Around these monumental buildings, modest homes, taverns, and workshops quickly appeared, giving life to a growing city that was still very much under construction. As the years passed, Washington evolved from a construction site into a functioning capital. Horse-drawn carriages rolled along broad dirt avenues, lined with young trees, while merchants displayed goods outside brick storefronts. Government officials crossed busy streets between newly completed buildings as church bells echoed across expanding neighborhoods. Every season brought another wave of construction, pushing the city farther across the landscape while preserving its role as the nation's political heart. That progress was suddenly interrupted when war reached the capital. Thick black smoke swallowed the skyline as flames consumed government buildings. During the British attack of 1814, soldiers rushed through the streets while frightened civilians fled with whatever they could carry. For a moment, the dream of a permanent capital seemed close to disappearing beneath fire and destruction. But almost as quickly as the flames faded, rebuilding began. Damaged structures were repaired with stronger stone, roads improved, and elegant townhouses replaced ruined buildings, allowing Washington to emerge stronger than before. During the 19th century, the city matured into a confident national capital. Victorian architecture filled the streets. Gas lamps illuminated the avenues after sunset, and horse-drawn streetcars carried passengers through expanding neighborhoods. The magnificent cast-iron dome of the Capitol rose high above the skyline, becoming one of America's most recognizable symbols. Parks flourished beneath rows of mature shade trees, while telegraph lines connected Washington to a rapidly growing nation. Once again, conflict transformed the city during the Civil War. Endless columns of Union soldiers marched through the streets as military camps spread across open fields. Surrounding the Capitol, hospitals, supply depots, and warehouses appeared almost overnight, while trains carried troops toward distant battlefields. Yet even during wartime, Washington continued to grow, preparing itself for an even larger future once peace returned. The decades that followed brought rapid modernization. Gas lamps gave way to electric streetlights. Horse-drawn vehicles gradually surrendered the roads to automobiles, and streetcars glided quietly along steel rails. Museums, libraries, and government departments expanded across the city while the brilliant white Washington Monument rose proudly above the growing skyline. The National Mall evolved into a grand ceremonial space with the Lincoln Memorial, reflecting pools, and world-famous museums, creating one of the most iconic landscapes in the United States. The 20th century brought both challenge and progress. During World War II, military convoys and government workers filled the streets as Washington became the command center for decisions that shaped global history. In the decades that followed, highways, metro stations, and modern office buildings expanded around the historic core without overshadowing its famous monuments. Visitors from every corner of the world gathered beneath blooming cherry blossom trees, walked along the reflecting pool, and stood before the Capitol, witnessing a city that had become a symbol recognized across the globe. Today, streams of vehicles, cyclists, diplomats, tourists, and government employees move through the Capitol from sunrise until long after sunset. Fireworks light up the sky every Independence Day. Cherry blossoms return each spring, and illuminated monuments reflect across calm waters as they have for generations. From one unchanging viewpoint, the transformation is extraordinary. A forgotten marsh beside the Potomac has become one of the world's most influential capitals, where history is not only remembered, but continues to unfold every single day.